The series opens up with a young lady named Yoon Ji-woo choosing to celebrate her birthday with her dad in the morning. Yoon practices in her room while paying attention to music. She then prepares. Furthermore, leaves her loft for school. On her way, two cops follow her. Furthermore, get some information about her dad, who is a criminal and street pharmacist. Yoon doesn't answer to them and simply leaves. Notwithstanding this, the officials follow her for some time and request that she tell her dad to give up, assuming he at any point comes to her contact. Since her dad's case became known to everybody, Yoon is segregated by her companions. In class they misuse her and scrawl affronts right in front of her, considering her a girl of a criminal. Later in the day, Yu sees the cops talking to the head, and soon she is called to the workplace. There the chief tells her that she should be ousted from school on the grounds that many guardians object to a criminal's girl going to something very similar school as their youngsters back in class. Yoon tracks down rubbish directly in front of her alongside a paper loaded up with powder. The domineering jerk young ladies don't quit embarrassing her and recommend she proceed to sell opiates like her dad. Feeling furious and baffled, Yoon assaults her companions, prompting a battle. She then, at that point, gives a name card to one of her instructors and tempests out of the school. Outside her home, Yoon sees something very similar. Squad car sitting tight. For her, infuriated, she assaults the vehicle and is accordingly pursued by the cops. Yoon then, at that point, hurries to the ocean side to get away and sits down on the edge, thinking back about her father and the time they spent together. She was raised with affection by her dad since youth, and she doesn't trust he's a criminal. As a matter of fact, Yoon is as yet hanging tight for her dad to return and praise her birthday together. Later, around evening time, when Yoon gets back home, she finds the police actually sitting tight for her, overlooking them. She goes into the house. In the meantime, her dad, Yoon Dong-hoon, attempts to call her from a compensation telephone. At first, she disregards the call, however, in the long run answers it when Dong asks how her day went and in the event that she partook in her birthday with her companions. Yoon, out of nowhere, gets hyper and begins shouting at her father. She communicates her annoyance and faults him for all the experiencing in her life. In reaction, her dad vows to tackle his concerns and return to her soon. Anyway, Yoon is as of now frustrated and lets him know that she trusts her dad is dead prior to stopping the call. In the wake of paying attention to his furious little girl, Dong-hoon gets in a vehicle and turns on his long unused phone. He peruses a message from Yoon communicating her hopeless existence. Without a second thought, he chooses to return home to see her. He then requests that the driver escape the vehicle. What's more, drive directly to Yoon's loft. Upon appearance, Dong debilitates the police watch outside his home and surges inside. He sees his immaculate presence outside the entryway and attempts to open the lock. Right then, a veiled man approaches Dong from behind and shoots him. Yoon awakens to the commotion and approaches the way to examine. Glancing through individuals, she witnesses her dad having chance by a secretive man. She attempts to open the entryway, yet her father, worried for her security, holds it close. He is doing this since he does not believe the veiled man should see as his little girl. After he leaves, Dong-hoon apologizes to Yoon for making her life hopeless and dies outside the doorstep. Yoon frantically attempts to open the entryway and sees her dad lying dormant and canvassed in blood. Overpowered with pain, she embraces his inert body and cries. The next day, it's Dong's memorial service. Furthermore, Yoon should be visible crying, sitting in front of her dad's photograph at something very similar time, a gathering sporting dark Suits drove by a man named Choi Mujin. Shown up at the burial service home, they are the most impressive hoodlums in the city, and Mujin, who was Dong Hun's closest companion, has come to offer his appreciation. Yoon inquires him about her dad's homicide, yet he essentially expresses that her dad was his most confided in companion. Before Dong's body is incinerated, Yoon takes a gander at him for the last time and thinks back about their cheerful times together. She can't figure out why her dad unexpectedly picked such a perilous way in. The following scene, Yoon goes to the police station to ask about the advancement of her dad's homicide case. Regrettably, she discovers that the case has been shut because of an absence of witnesses or proof. Hearing this, she blows up at the official and presents a hazy picture of the executioner that she got from the CCTV film, yet rather the cop chides her and faults her dad for being a criminal on the run. Subsequently, at night, Yoon visits Mujin's base camp. Also, as she enters, she observes individuals occupied with counting cash and bundling opiates. She disregards everything and goes directly to Yoon's office. There she gives up the hazy CCTV picture to Mujin and requests that he think that she is father's executioner, communicating her goal to take retribution by killing him with her own hands. Accordingly, Mujin stands up and gives her a blade, moving her to cut him anyway. Yoon can't bring herself to mischief or wound him, and as a result Mujin slaps her hard, asking her to get out. Continuing on, Yoon gets back and later hears a thump on the entryway. Dreadfully looking through individuals, she sees the same individual whom she saw the evening of her dad's homicide. Scared, she conceals under a cover until the individual leaves. Sooner or later, Yoon accumulates mental fortitude to seek after her father's executioner, conveying a golf club. She pursues the individual, yet sadly neglects to get up to speed. Undaunted, Yoon proceeds with her mission by making a banner with CCTV pictures and sticking everything over the city. She has likewise referenced a prize of 5,000,000 won to anybody who gives data about the individual in the pictures. The following day, Mujin unintentionally goes over one of the banners and chooses to make a move. He then saves Yoon from getting burglarized by neighborhood hooligans and recovers her life, moved by Yoon's assurance and culpability over her father. Mujin urges her to quit looking for retribution and carry on with her life well anyway. She declines, decided not to let the police close her dad's homicide case without equity. In the wake of hearing this as a arrangement, Mujin recommends that if she genuinely needs retribution, she really wants to learn the most effective method to battle and kill individuals. He then requests that Yoon pack her assets. Furthermore, assumes her to a position close to the ocean, also the harbor where his association trains contenders. Mujin illuminates his men present there to prepare Yoon, amazing them generally as it's the initial time a lady profoundly wants to prepare as a warrior with them. The following day, Young Tai Ju, Mujin's right-hand man, clashes with the choice to allow Yoon to join their association anyway. Mujin demands permitting her, referencing that she is looking for vengeance for her dad. After this, Yoon is relegated to clean and keep up with the preparation ground by Do Gangjae, one of the contenders from the club, regardless of confronting abuse from a portion of the men not set in stone. What's more, prepares alone, consistently dazzled by her determination. Mujin screens her progress and shows her endurance methods and flimsy parts in the human body where she can go after over the long run. A contest is held among the criminals to decide the most grounded part, who will procure an exchange and work for Mujin. Shockingly, Yoon routs everybody and arises as the victor, beating her adversary and delivering them Oblivious this route drives Gang Jae to feel embarrassed and look for vengeance later. Around evening time, somebody tranquilizes Yoon's beverage, making her vibe woozy. Utilizing this open door, Gang Jae and his companions endeavor to hurt her, however Yoon figures out how to protect herself in spite of her oblivious state. Taeju intercedes upon hearing the upheaval and uncovered Gong Jae's arrangement to hurt Yoon. Moojin is disheartened in Gong Jae and rebuffs him by slicing his face with a sword. In the accompanying scene, Moojin takes Yoon to a bar which was her dad's #1 spot and gives her another way of life as "Oh, hi Jin," expressing that Yoon has been killed by Gong Jae. He additionally hands the firearm tracked down close to her dad's dead body and uncovers that his dad was a police official. With this information, Moojin rules Hyejin and the police foundation to reveal reality behind her dad's homicide. As time elapses, Hyejin devotes herself to extraordinary preparation and becomes talented and utilizing various weapons. She then, at that point, authoritatively joins Moojin's lawbreaker association and gets their tattoo on her chest. It is essential for her to remain steadfast and keep her actual personality a secret. Following 3 years, Hyejin at last enters the police institute and turns into a individual from the wrongdoing unit. On her first day, she's relegated to find a well-established outlaw homicide suspect. She requests that her companion call for reinforcement while she enters a club where the suspect is apparently managing opiates with another person. Hyejin effectively mines each room and goes over one where a few men are managing in opiate exchanges. Decisively, she goes up against them, prompting a battle. Similarly, as the police show up, Hyejin effectively cuffs the suspect. In the meantime, John Sturpt Do and secret opiates official becomes irate with Hyejin accepting she has destroyed his half-year plan. They wind up battling about the suspect. What's more, ultimately the senior mediates and permits Pildo